All right, shalom, shalom. I want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
Hashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Yep, in the ancient Hebrew tongue, those would be the correct names of the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. Also, like to give double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there. And as always, you believers, the Akim as well as the Aquas, those of you who subscribe to this truth as well. So, welcome to another installment of As Foretold in the Scriptures, which again is an ongoing series dedicated to Bible prophecy, as pertaining to the things that's set to come to pass here in the latter days, which really focuses in on transition of power that's taking place here on the planet Earth, where the Lord in a powerful act is set to raise up the poor and needy and simultaneously bring low the high and exalted and the lofty. And that's pretty much what the Bible represents and promotes. That's the presentation in a nutshell, man. And this is why the information, when presented, goes over the heads of those who operate under the flesh, right? Let's go to Philippians, the 2nd chapter, because one of the misinterpretations is that we are here to bring in everybody. That's the task given. The objective is to convince every nigga. Imagine that. Imagine trying to convince every knuckleheaded nigga to conform to the ways of Yahushua, to become priestly and royal. That in itself is an impossible feat to accomplish when considering the current state of the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American who relish in the role of just being a grimy pants hanging. You smell the faint smell of a black and mild. You gotta go, you gotta leave. You get out of there. So imagine trying to talk a nigga and convince a nigga to come into the Commonwealth of Israel, and to operate under the Spirit. So we was never really sent to everybody. Matter of fact, get that as well. Is that Matthew 15? I was only sent to the lost sheep.
Oh, yeah.
Is that it?
I got some on real quick.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah,
That's one of the telltale signs that a brother, or a man of the Lord is really into this word, into this truth. Is how long he can stand being around a nigga, man. Because a lot of people bring out that the Lord was around. The Lord was around publicans and sinners. But you can't tell me that he chose their company over his disciples. The scriptures talk about the one he loved. If he had to choose who he's gonna be around, he'd be around Peter and John, the one he loved, and James and his 12. It ain't like the Lord was just. He loved the company of niggas because he said he was around publicans and sinners. So if somebody would convert that into the fact that we gotta be around niggas, they ain't, really being in this world, man, it's a vexation of spirit. The longer you're around these people, really the more agonizing it is, painstaking it is just to hear their conversation.
The scripture speaks about that too. What's that? Vex with the
filthy conversation.
And you actually had that doctrine beginning to surface too, with guys starting to promote going out to the hoods and being around niggas. Come on.
This is St. Matthew 15 and 24. It says, But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Yep, see that? And that right there cancels out the idea of the ministry being extended to the masses, which, by the way, that word masses translates to death. So those outside of this circle are already numbered to the sword. Their destiny is prepared by Yahweh Shema Shai. Their fate is already sealed. So, and these are the words of Yahweh Shai himself. Read that again.
St. Matthew 15 and 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right, and that even excludes all of Israel, because the key word there is sheep. All right, the 2/3 is referred to as vipers and scorpions.
Goats.
What's that?
Goats.
Yeah, hypocrites.
See, so look, do you pet a viper? Do you make a viper, a scorpion, your pet? No, he's not an ideal, right? He's going to turn around and rend you. But a sheep was designed to be led. They actually embrace the idea of being led. They look to their shepherd. What's that? 2nd Ezra? We can hold that as well, right? You know, if you consider sheep, first of all, they roll in a flock. That's where you get the congregation. You break that word congregation down. Con meaning with, gregation going back to the Latin word gregare, which goes back to flock. So there's going to be a gathering, right? That excludes niggas in that spirit of, you can't tell me that lone wolf. How can one be a sheep if you're a lone wolf? These guys who promote the idea, you got to be with a camp, or, you know. But when you consider that flock, let's say if you leave that flock in the wilderness and the shepherd just leave them, then there's going to be a feeding frenzy on those sheep, because just from the mere way they're designed, right? And that's what happened to Israel. The Lord pretty much scattered us and drove us out, abandoned us pretty much. And what happened? The nations began to feast on us. Yep, come on.
This is St. John, chapter 10. And in verse 11, it says, I am the good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep.
Yeah.
But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scatter the sheep.
Right, so that proves right there that the sheep, right, and the brother got St. John. What verse you reading from?
St. John 10 and 12.
You could jump down to the 27th verse. Yep. Or, you know, you can read that as well. Well, that gives you a glimpse into how the sheep is engineered. Their survival centers, it revolves around the shepherd. That's why the scriptures is known as the staff. Because when you consider the dynamic between the shepherd and the sheep get out of line. In fact, the sheep is docile to a certain extent. Yeah, they could be dumb to a fault, meaning they could get out of line. But how does the shepherd get them back in line? With that staff? He'll hit them over the head. He'll hook them. That's what the scriptures serves as, the staff that keeps us in line. Come on.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 11. The words of the wise are as golds, and as nails fastened by the masses' assemblies, which are given from one shepherd.
That's beautiful. Yep, that's nails. They're pretty much a symbol of being firm, that steadfastness.
And that gold is the stick.
Yeah, and that gold is the stick. That was shepherds used. A gold. But also, for an example, Ephesians, the 4th chapter and the 14th verse, where it speaks about those who are carried away with every wind of doctrine. So being established in Yahweh Shai, right, rooted and grounded, then is equivalent to being nailed down and fastened. Right, go ahead.
That was it. Again,
continue.
So the words of the wise are as gold,
Mm-hmm.
and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies,
Mhm.
which are given from one shepherd.
See, which are given from one shepherd. Just like the elder mentioned, that gold is the accessory, if you will, as concerning the shepherd. Well, in this case, that staff, that gold, is the scriptures. This is how we're kept in line, and ultimately how we're going to be preserved, seeing that we operate under, the vibration of this shepherd who is our protector.
That chief shepherd.
With that chief shepherd. Yep, because that's heavy, because we all serve as shepherds to a certain extent, because the Lord sent us out to feed the sheep. See?
Yeah.
And it's a method behind the Lord referring to us as sheep, because again, there's different class of animals, right? So if I'm a sheep, then that means there's a wolf out there, right? It wasn't a broad or general statement. Feed my animals, or feed my beasts. Then now you can say, oh, the commandment came down for me to teach whatever form or kind or whatever likeness. No, the Lord only sent us to the sheep. All right, you got some? All right, come on. Go ahead.
Somebody get that definition for the wolf. Because matter of fact, I'm just gonna read it again.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna jump down to 27. Like you said.
Okay, come on. Yeah, you got it.
St. John 10 and
Was it 12, 11?
Yeah, 12.
okay, cut. St. John 10 and 12, the water. It says, but he that is in hireling, and we know what a hireling is, somebody that is hired, one that took the bag. It says,
Yep.
And not the sheep, and not the shepherd whose own the sheep are not. Meaning what? You are like me and the brother went the lesson we went into, brother,
Yeah, the good shepherd.
Yeah, the good shepherd. Cut.
I advise brothers to watch this.
Good. Thank call all
Yeah,
your
it's down at the Gethsemane garden.
Good. So it says who's the sheep are not, and the true sheep, those that want to be led into that green pasture, that hireling, that's not the true shepherd of those sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the Most High did give the hireling sheep, which the ones that he wanted to be led into the desert.
Right.
So it says, see if the wolf coming. So that what is that? Ezekiel the 33rd chapter.
Right.
When it speaks.
Who is the wolf?
Right.
For you, them boys out there who are pushing the idea of we're not to get on Esau.
Oh, God. See?
That's
See?
You got that stashed.
See that?
That's how they pushing it. Like,
Beautiful.
it's a certain time to get on Esau. All the precepts, you hold all those precepts back into late 2023.
Yeah.
When all the elected seals, then we get up. Man, get out of here, man. A part of the mission, the job description, is to warn you. That's the idea of a shepherd. A shepherd is just like a watchman.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's given the tedious assignment of keeping in line these sheep.
That's it.
That's why from time to time the Spirit get on us to call out guys for these different heresies that spring forth, different doctrines that surface. That's a form of us warning you of the wolf.
Mm-hmm. That's it. The sword.
Yeah, the sword.
The Most High sword.
Now, right. Yeah.
We know that we know the ultimate sword, which is the weapons of the Most High.
Right.
But a form of that sword comes in Esau, which is a man.
Yeah.
Right. So that definition of wolf that a true shepherd's supposed to be warning you from, you got it up.
On the word wolf, Strong's G30 74 says metaphor of cruel, greedy.
Now, so when it says metaphor, like we always said,
right,
that's the spiritual.
That's the spiritual aspect of that definition.
Good. So one would say, "Hold up, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, and guys don't know that. You learned that from the apostles.
Exactly.
We learned this technique of searching out wisdom and understanding through the apostles. You got guys who follow those, that technique,
right?
But they don't even meet to it. They probably know what the fuck.
Exactly. Because they'll these guys talking about a wolf.
Right.
No.
And that's why you guys come up against
Right.
them, because they don't have spiritual, not one spiritual bone in their body.
When you say their lens is not adjusted.
Right.
Their lens is off. I'm talking about meters. Very, they see 18s. I see 2s. No, you see 18s. I mean, you're not focused at all.
Right.
So what we're saying is this is metaphorically speaking of that wolf that St. John 10 and 12 is speaking of. So go ahead up.
It says a cruel, greedy.
See, cruel, greedy. Now these are characteristics of this wolf. Go ahead.
It says rapacious,
Mm-hmm.
destructive men.
Destructive men. So that's that sword.
Right.
What was that sword? Isn't a sword meant for which really it's an offensive weapon. So it said destructive men. In order to destroy something, that's an offensive.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the exploring offense.
Offensive.
You on the offense.
Right.
So who is that? Esau.
Right.
Which is the Lord's sword.
That's why the scriptures are referred to as that brazen wall, that hedge of protection,
Beautiful.
the fortified city with watchmen day and night. You can sleep now.
Mm-hmm.
You can be comforted now,
True.
knowing that there's a watchman on their post day and night. Versus the hireling who pop up on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a small element to it. But you about to see, we about to go into a phase in the drama where the Lord's going to release Esau. What's that movie? Is that Clash of Titans?
Oh yeah, come.
Release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken.
Yep. And he came out of the sea from amongst the people.
See that?
Yeah. The Lord going to stir up Esau. He's going to emerge in the scene.
That's beautiful.
Like all these movies.
Right.
The guy who said, which one of y'all came? It was a point where he came into the movie, man. You got something? All right, go.
Psalm 140:1. Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man.
Beautiful.
Preserve me from the violent man.
Right. And the stage is set for the so-called white man to pounce on you. The infrastructure is in play with this whole digital system, which the scriptures refer to as the charagma. All right. You got the so-called white man releasing his he's unleashing his military. You got certain task force that's assigned to invade your homes with paperwork justifying them coming into your homes. You see, that's biblical prophecy unfolding. Come on.
Which imagine mischief in the heart. Continually are they gathered together for war.
Right. This is the only reasoning for the so-called white man to be in the drama. It's all about war with him. You know?
Yeah.
So that's his role. That's the lot that was appointed to him by Yahweh Shema Shah. He has to settle into that role. He has to be Esau. That's why no matter how much he try to portray himself as being some pious entity, right? No, eventually he's going to have to be who he was designed and engineered to be by the director himself. Right. You can't, the scriptures say that who have ever escaped his will or resisted his will. Yeah. All right, come on. You got something?
Yeah, this is Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh saved, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction.
Right, and that's dealing with someone. That's not as of a broad statement as one might think. That's what Christianity does. If you was to inquire what the scriptures are saying, you know, and you go to someone for clarity, well, it's going to be presented in a broad statement, you know, an idea of, no, what the scriptures is a matter of fact. This is like a matter of fact approach. It's talking to someone. Read that again.
But unto the wicked.
See, but unto the wicked. Go ahead.
Yahweh saved.
Right, so this is addressed to the wicked. Go ahead.
What hast thou to do to declare my statute?
Right, which the statutes of the Lord is found where? You can look no further in the scriptures. And the so-called white man used the scriptures as leverage. We went into that earlier with the whole idea of white supremacy. Yep. And how the so-called white man used Christianity to assist in forging that narrative. See? So the so-called white man actually used the scriptures. He swear on the scriptures. You know, you have these inaugurations. The Bible's a top seller. It's found on every coffee table, in every living room, on every dashboard. You'll find a nigga, a street nigga with a pocket Bible got from the city, from the county jail.
Gillian.
Yeah, the Gideon.
Yeah, Gideon. Yeah, that's it. I said Gillian.
So you have to unlock. The spirit has to be on you to know the scriptures is going into. But again, the Lord is talking to a particular, it's a specific people who the Lord is talking to, the wicked. Can we get that real quick before the brother go back to that? Go to, is that Malachi, the first chapter?
Yeah.
Let's get that real quick, because you can narrow down who the wicked is, man.
God, the book of Malachi 1, verse 4. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
So right, you got the scriptures calling names. Lord said Edom. Edom is an actual nation of people. What's that? Genesis? Is it Genesis 36? Esau is Edom. All right, come on.
Thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shai, power of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. So
Edom will build, but the Lord will throw down. Go ahead.
And they shall call them.
And they shall call who? Edom. Go ahead.
The border of wickedness.
The border of wickedness. See that? So that word wickedness is not as of a broad statement as one might think. It's a source, right? When you get to the bottom of things through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, what we found out is that the wicked is actually Edom. Now you might say, who is Edom? Well, simply put, the so-called white man. All right, so we can go back up.
It says, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instructions?
Right, the so-called white man hate instructions. That's not a hard saying. You know what prove that? You can actually go and find pork chop. You could go out there and you can purchase pork chop under this man's watch, and you can consume it. That means he hates instruction. Oysters, and that's like the tip, that's just at face value. You want to get more intricate, oysters, like the brother said, lobster. You can eat, man, I don't want to go there. They might cut, the video might get a strike.
Seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee.
Now, in order to cast something means to throw it. So in order for you to cast or throw anything, you must have possession of it. So that's an indictment against the so-called white man. Here it is. You have archaeologists, historians who dig up and excavate certain ancient relics and such, right? And they have evidence that the Bible is valid, but yet they still question the validity of the Lord. They still present to you the Big Bang Theory. See? Hey, they can have a lot of those books that you read about, like what's that first king, the book of the wars of the Lord. Hey, ask one of these guys, what's the book of the war of the Lord? Or the book of the princes, the kings of Israel. Those are books that's mentioned in the Holy Scriptures, man. But them devils that have access to a lot of those records, they have more evidence than we have, but they still question the authority of Yahweh Shai. Here it is, we believe. Right?
You don't even have the tangible evidence too, but
right. They got resources to go into the laws with an in-depth perspective, but yet they make it accessible to get pork.
Right.
So that's an example of you casting the words of Yahweh Shai away. Oh, that reminds me of Yahweh Shai away. That reminds me of the parable of Lazarus and the rich man. You have Moses and the prophet.
Said nay.
Yeah, but nay, oh fuck.
I got something.
Yeah, come on.
Isaiah 26:10. Let favor be showed to the wicked.
Yeah, that's it.
Yet will he not learn righteousness? Kind of just going back, like you said, I was talking about this man. He actually got tangible evidence,
right,
to you know, show that the scriptures are alive and well. Y'all by smell shot and living power. And this nigga ain't. He gonna try to come with another way,
Right.
a way around it, so to speak.
Anti.
Yep, that's it.
That's it. Yep.
It says, in the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly and will not behold the majesty of the Lord. So he's saying that, just for an example, this man, how he's doing in the land of Israel as well. You know, this man, the founding land, you got a thing called Pink City. But see, he's not going to behold the majesty of the Lord. So he's not going to really come into the favor of the Lord, the truth. Let's say he's gonna the curse of Cain is one of those curses. He's gonna be hid from the face of the Lord, man.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, because he has a carnal approach to everything.
Mm-hmm.
His reasoning is centered around tangible things. Like I said, he had to go on these digs, you know, ancient artifacts and relics. He'll produce the Moabite stone. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yet he'll still mass produce pork chops. Death. Yeah. That's it. The mass producer of death. Esau, the so-called white man. Yet he is as death. What's that? Habakkuk?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You got something? All right, good. We're gonna know what we're gonna come around. You had more on that too, right?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, come on. Yep. So we come around.
Ecclesiastes 14:7. And if he do it good, he do it unwillingly. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness.
Yep. Yeah, that's talking about who? The so-called white man. Again, that's detailed. That's not a broad statement, a general statement. It's dealing with a particular entity, man. He. Who is that he? And those are the questions you got to ask. Who is that he that the Lord said his sights, you know, who the Lord is vexed with? If he do it good, if this man do anything that's productive, there's a sinister plot behind it. There's when you go into the treatise, this devil can't. First of all, what the fuck you doing over? You come over, which we know, you know, in the spirit, it all goes back to the will of Yahweh Shah. But that's a valid question. All right. So you here now, but why are you here? You making treaties. You making fucking treaties. Then once you those treaties, right, cause the natives to hide themselves. I don't want to let you get a clear shot at me, right? Then you set up a peace treaty. I will no longer ravage your women, invade your villages, take your resources, and they sit down and they agree to it, just for him to come back and double cross you. That's the role of Esau, man. All right, come on. That was it. Anything? Y'all got anything come around?
I'll back it up.
Hold up, real quick. We got something to back it up. Come on.
Real quick. Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
That's it.
But war was in his heart. Then the scripture go ahead and tell you never trust our enemy.
Yeah.
So it becomes easy for a man of the Lord in the understanding that the Lord is pointing out to us who the enemy is, how to watch out for him, what he's going to be doing, what he's about. He's about death, rape, robbery, and murder. All right? Murderer from the beginning. You know, so the scriptures point him out. It says his words were softer than the oil, yet they were drawn swords. So everything about him, it seems calm, collected, cool. Like he's one of the people. He's one of the good people on this earth. And then you turn around and you see he's spilling oil all up in the ocean. Right? All the birds is flying out the air. They're dying, man. Like all the food sources is drying up. All the water sources is drying up in odd places. You know, you got Edomites that's using, all type of chemical warfare against the people. And the brother brought out in the land of Israel. You got over there, that's the most vaccinated place on earth right now. The land of Israel. I mean, that should tell you about them people over there. Yeah. You know, how they care about themselves. The scripture in Job will tell you their bones was filled with sins of their youth. Mm-hmm. So all the going back to who they were before time, it's all caught up to about how evil and malicious they are. Scripture tell you to whom will you do good if you do evil to yourself, right? Yeah, brothers, guys. Yeah.
I got something.
You got it.
This Sirach 12 verse 17. if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first.
Right. When you see pictures of Jake swinging from the end of a tree, who was on the other end of the rope? It was Esau. When you was brought over here in those cargo ships as cargo to serve under the foot of your enemies, who facilitated that transition? You know, how you get here, man?
Yeah.
It was Edomites. And even to this very day, the things that were set up to keep Jake in derision and keep you vexed as a people, so-called white man on the other end of the pen, in a lot of cases it's touching the legislations or the gun when they pull your ass over. Right? Go ahead.
It says, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine.
Oh yeah, like we was touching on, we was speaking about before we went live, the CHIP Act. You know, the CHIP Act. You know, Article 104. When you go into the details of it, it's one of them is to it's to strengthen.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
The what?
What is the purpose of the CHIPS Act? In July 2022, Congress passed the CHIPS Act of 2022.
Hey, this sounds like the same treaties they were sending.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. Same treaty. What's the purpose? They send you down.
Right.
I'm gonna send y'all the picture. I got this image of Esau sitting down with the natives with with paperwork. Fuck 'em, man. And that's what they do. They sit down and see what right here. Right? You got an interpreter and shit in it.
A Gadite interpreter.
Yeah, a Gadite interpreter. Or a lot of them cases, you know what they'll do? You couldn't even understand what they were saying. And so it wasn't even really valid. They'll come up on you, invading your village while a motherfucker standing there reading, and the natives didn't know what the fuck he was saying. Motherfucker just show you a piece of paper, close it real quick, and they'll come and seize everything. But this is all the makings of a criminal. In fact, this have the works of Esau all over it. The fingerprints of Esau all over it, yeah. Giving you insight, giving you clarity concerning this treaty.
It smells like Esau.
Yeah. So what is the purpose of the act?
It says July 2022, Congress passed the CHIPS Act of 2022 to strengthen domestic semiconductor manufacturing, design and research, fortify the economy.
See, fortify the economy. You see the word strengthen there? So the CHIP Act, it don't give you the back end of it or the dangers, the hidden dangers that could potentially be there. I'm just speaking, let's just say just speaking. Yeah. Right, yeah.
Sounds nice so far.
Right. Objectively. I'm being objective about it. Let's say that. Yeah. Why isn't there a downside to it? That means you're trying to convince me. This is going to strengthen. This is going to fortify the economy. Yep, go ahead.
And national security.
Oh, see, and all of a sudden the CHIP is going to. But you see, what happens is now you adjust your lenses. Oh, what you read when you see that his rust is now all. Yeah. So we said, hold up, man. Yeah. Because the national security, that you know what that falls under as well? Your privacy, your credit card transactions. Somebody hacking. That's why you see the momentum of hacking emerge over the last 10 years. Fraud. And this is what dominates the minds of you Chaldeans out there, you Babylonians. You're always concerned. We go into it. At the end of all the stun, you at the bar looking at your bank app. So that's why that national security right there, that also applies to, that's going to be the pitch too. Now, nobody going to be able to hack.
Yep.
Yeah.
And reinforce America's chip supply chain.
But the point that I wanted to bring out was the strengthen and fortify the economy and national security. That's a matter of fact. Let's read the scripture again.
This is the book of Sirach 12 and verse 17. It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help.
Right, so you're going to see that on display. When he present the chip, it's going to be packaged and presented under the the idea of helping you, benefiting you, pretending to help you. Whether and he's gonna pitch it where it's gonna apply to all sides of the spectrum. From the simple nigga who just want convenience, this here you can crank your car up, to one who's concerned about the patriotic American who's concerned about being invaded or national security, or right. That's how this he's gonna pretend to help you. Go ahead.
Yet shall he undermine.
Yet shall he undermine you. So that whole thing is a slippery slope. That's why we are commanded to not,
trust in Babylon.
Trust in him. Yep.
Trust in water. What's that?
What do you trust in Babylon?
Yeah, trust in Egypt. Go down to Egypt for help.
Isaiah 30. Right. Matter of fact, you can get that. Yep, because you succumbing to his advances. Like you got.
That's right. Yep. Covering, but not of me. That.
What?
Yeah, these are his advances. The advances.
His
like
advances. Whosoever come near a serpent shall be bit by him. What's that? What you think that bite is? Yeah, you got it.
Just going back to what the brother just brought out and what the elder's saying. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent, they say that bite. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made. And he said unto the woman, have the Most High said, or should I say, have the power said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. So, like the brother's saying, right? This what the scripture said at the end. What the end of it says?
It says, though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee.
So it says the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the pretend. That's a trait of being subtle.
Right.
Deception.
Yeah, that's good.
Putting up a facade, making you think one thing, but my actions and my intents are another.
Yeah, the cunning hunter.
The cunning hunter. That's it.
Fake love.
Fake love. That's it.
Because the snare is set up to and designed to keep you at bay, almost to create a false sense of security.
That's it.
A snare really is a image of trust.
Beautiful.
Because wherever you see food at, right? So is an image of trust. I can eat and I can be satisfied. But ultimately, that's how the so-called white man operate. In the same way of a serpent, because you can't even see a serpent. Don't really even bark like that. I mean, bark. I'm thinking like a dog or something. Bear, roar, lion. Right? Yeah, he slither is gradualism, element of gradualism. And you really don't know he was there till you bit.
That's it.
See, that's how it's gonna play out. You're not gonna know that was the devil until he hit you. It's happening now. A lot of these people who was hit with that thing, the crime, now they say, I hate I ever did it. Now you know that was a serpent that bit you now.
Snake,
Snake,
Say something like
all that you can give me.
snake.
It was a snake. Yeah, good.
Those snake bites, that venom is once you get bit, like it's a process.
Right.
Like
You're right, brother.
The brother brought out that at the end he's going to declare his
That's
wickedness.
it.
That's when you know he's the devil when it's too late.
That's it.
Like you said, when that venom kick in,
That's it.
Right.
now you got what that shit called, your face lock up.
Conway.
The Conway face.
Yep.
Pretty
Conway.
much.
Yep.
Paul.
That's scary.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's scary. Even the name's scary. That could be a scary movie. Like cerebral palsy. You like, I gotta watch that. Real talk, right? Yeah. So hey, even when you consider what scripture say, that gruesome sore after you receive the karama, that's the same effects of a serpent. If you bit by that serpent, it creates a gruesome sore. And you know what? Real quick, somebody get that. Job, is that Job 12:7? Yeah, because you might be new to this form of teaching. And the brother said it, Justin Bieber. Yeah, and I put up curses. He was what, you know what I'm saying? Put up curses on that nigga years back, man. I'm not saying I'm the real, but I'm saying though, I had a disdain for him, and that was like for relief. But I actually got into it. I was up watching, you know, and looking at his images. I was relieved. It soothed me. It appeased me. It helped me in this walk in Babylon. See, the things that comfort us, we hear. Oh, Scripture say that we should rejoice in the judgments of the Lord, right? So we'll calm down and we facing ills. You know, our good news is the judgments, and that held me over for a minute. I was like, well, you know what I mean? Fucking man, you feel bad, you go back to the article. So like, yeah, go ahead.
God, the book of Job 12 is sound. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee.
Right, see, so you might be thrown out because we speaking of the beast, and that's the spirit. We started off with the sheep. Now you see how the spirit spilled over to the serpent. That wasn't scripted, that was all in the spirit. So the scriptures say, ask the beasts and they shall teach you, because the beasts have certain qualities in which the wise consider. That's why it made sense when the scriptures call you niggas scorpions. And you know what? There's a saying, a barrel of crabs. Y'all ever heard of that? In the hood, there's a barrel of crabs. They want to keep, see? It shows you the value. That's it, crabs in the barrel. Volume? Yeah, go ahead.
It's like, but ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, in the fowls of the air, and they shall tell.
Right, just like we was going to the eagle, how his qualities match up perfectly with the so-called white man. So the beast, you can actually look at. That's why the scriptures make a conscious effort to refer to nations as certain animals, man. So it's touching the so-called white man. He's that serpent. See? You got something up? All right, come on, we get that. We'll go around.
This is the book of Psalm 58. And
Did you add? Come on, man.
Psalm 58, and I started.
It's the scriptures testifying against you, Esau. Both of them brothers said they had the same thing. You know what I mean? So that means the spirit was gonna get on you anyway. The scriptures was gonna get on you, man, and condemn you. So that proved that doctrine, it don't hold no weight. It's not gonna get any footing. This idea of nope, don't get on Esau. How the hell you gonna campaign something like that, man? Meanwhile, Esau in warp speed right now, you know, moving forward with the prophecies. Yeah, come on.
Psalms 58, and I started verse 3. It said, the wicked are estranged from the womb.
Yep.
They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent.
See, their poison is like the poison of a serpent. Giving credence to Job, the 12th chapter. Consider the beast of the field, and they shall teach thee. So when you consider the poison of a serpent and how it's activated, right? It comes from that hit, that jab. And then what happens, it kills you. That poison is a symbol of that death that's sure to happen after that bite. That's why when you read Revelation, the 14th chapter, it goes into the penalty of the bite. You're sealed. You're going to die right there. So that's the same with a serpent. All right, go ahead.
It said their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear.
Right, because they listening and paying attention to us more than you can imagine. These devils watching us. But they're not going to hearken or yield to us, you know, because really they fate is bleak, man. I mean, I'm being generous with that. So they like, look, only thing we can do is fight against this. You know, we could just try to, with all our power, somehow, but them devils in a real awkward situation. All right, come on, that was it out? You got some? Start double dog going around.
It is Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 10. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beasts, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel.
That's it. So when the so-called white man attempts to help you, even in that, he's killing you. Come get a shot, you know?
We say elder scissor hands.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to caress you.
Even when you try to caress you.
Cut your ass up.
Yeah, that's how you operate under the sword. He reasoned with the sword. That's why even in healing you, I have to.
Yeah.
I got this. I gotta.
I gotta
stab you. Yeah. Go ahead.
That was it.
All right, come on. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 14. There's a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth.
That's it. And that's dealing with Esau. His teeth is as swords because he pretty much justified his advances through legislations and laws. All right. That's why you have a such thing as mandates. You have a draconian approach with this devil. That's always been a part of this MO. And when the time now, if you don't know it, it's on you because this is the time where the Lord has allowed information to surface, is readily available. Really, literally is at your fingertips.
Right.
You could literally, you don't have to jump up and do nothing. You got access. The Lord extended, all right, this peace offering unto you. But it consists of letting you know who your enemies are. Remember, the Lord, a man of war, man. And that's love. If I brief you on who coming to kill you, I'll take that. I'll take that warning, man.
Right.
And I'm gonna be appreciative of the guy who told me. Why? Because that report was an effort to save your life. Go ahead, up.
It says, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth.
Right, and the poor is the Israelites. That's where you have BG, the original gangster, Bill Gates. And his motivation is what? Depopulation. That's why I said eliminate the poor from off the earth, man. Because they know who stands in the way of their pursuit to crown their enterprise of success. It's Israel saying that we was promised with that lot. And you got niggas that fight and kick against the pricks. They don't want to be Israelites. Good. More for us. Yep, go ahead.
And deleted from among men. That's it.
Yep. So they want to eliminate us. All right. And the sense of urgency behind that, man, you people can't even imagine. Because they fight, really, literally fighting for their life. They know what's at stake. These devils, that's why, okay, here it is. You scoff at us. But meanwhile, NASA is creating replicas of new bodies. The space suits. That's a replica of the new body that's promised to us. But we crazy. But Esau actually putting it in motion and trying to create a body, right, where they could go out into the heavens. Well, we're gonna have access, being under the order of Melchizedek and King Solomon in the new world. We're gonna be the only beings that's gonna have access to the planet Earth and the heavens. What's that? St. John the 14th chapter. Esau fight for that, man. He's ready to go to war with Yahweh Shai behind that. That's in Revelation the 17th chapter. All right, so come on.
Yeah, Con, this is Wisdom of Solomon 2 and verse 11. It says, let our strength be the law of justice, but that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth.
And that's the so-called white man reasoning amongst himself. And you see everything, I always go back to the sword with this devil. He can never diplomatically sit down and say, hey, no, the sword has to come into the picture. And we get it because that's his blessing. Go ahead, up.
Verse 12, therefore let us lie and wait for the righteous.
Right, and this is where the cunning hunter comes into the scene, man. And that goes back to the humble beginnings, which the characteristics of Esau, one of his character traits is he would be a hunter, a cunning hunter. Go ahead.
Because he is not for our turn.
Right. Who is not for his turn? We are not for his turn. Go ahead.
And he is clean contrary to our doing.
Oh, and that turn, that goes into his time to rule. It tells you that in Job, I want to say that's the 8th chapter about there's a time when every man on the earth, he's as a hired servant. You know, when you hire somebody, they got to do a certain job and you discard them as quick as you hire them. So you had different nations that came to occupy the power seat. That's it. Go ahead.
It says he upbraideth us without offending the law.
Right, and that's what we do day in and day out. We have precepts lined up. And you know what? I don't care what lesson you're going to. And the Spirit's on me to say that a while back. You could do a lesson about making a garment. And if it's just long enough, at some point you're going to get on Esau. That's why when you read Ezekiel, the 35th chapter, the Lord gave command to his servants and prophets to set thy face against Mount Seir, which Mount Seir serves pretty much as a symbol of wherever the so-called white man pitches tents. Go ahead,
It says, and objecting to our infamy, the transgressions of our education.
Right, yeah. We're in total disagreement. We have engaged in a spiritual war against you devils, man, as touching your deceptive, misleading, mischief, all right, bloodthirsty, greedy, inhumane, heinous. That's a lesson. But heinous.
Verse 13, it says, he professed to have the knowledge of the Most High. And he called himself.
Right, yeah. So the so-called white man came to the conclusion that we profess to have the knowledge of the Most High. And why wouldn't you come to that conclusion? Seeing that we operate under the instructions, the ordinance of Yahweh Shema Shah. How that's played out? By going into the scriptures. So that's talking about us. The men who profess to have the knowledge of, because a Christian will concede to the fact that they don't really know, but yet, but we tell you straight up and down. No, we the prophets, there's a certain level of power and authority that comes with the presentation. Come on, man.
And he called himself to be the child of the Lord.
Are not we aligning ourselves with being Israelites? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
He was made to reprove our thoughts.
Right. We was designed to search out Esau. Go ahead.
He is grievous unto us even to behold.
So the so-called white man is grieved by seeing the videos upload. He grieved at seeing us. Oh, did y'all see the Edomite came by on a bike? The older Edomite. Did you see him at the camp? He sat there. He had that.
He was agreeing with everything.
Yeah, he was. His countenance. I said in the spirit. I said, man, I believe that's one of them guys, man. That's one of them boys because his countenance. He was straight. He was serious, man. And, he ain't asked no questions.
No, I didn't say
he pulled up, and a lot of them they'll rough it too, man. Like a lot of them damn elite, they'll rough it. They'll ride bikes up, even with the Cesare Borgia.
Oh yeah,
he climbed mountains. And we actually talked to one who was in that meeting, that hearing.
Oh yeah.
The guy, he came by the camp. He was hiking it, and he didn't look like a homeless guy. He had on new, all conditioner gear. He had the big,
expensive wind jacket.
He has a book bag.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, man." He said, "I'm a." He traced his family to who was it? Was it the Rothschild? Yeah, I knew it was big. And he pulled out the ID. He said, "Look, yeah." And he told us to Google. And we Googled. And he had a seat in Louisiana. Yeah. It was him, man. It was him. Real talk, bro. His witnesses saw it. And he said, "Yeah, I'm just going cross country, man." And I believe in the spirit. I think I said, "Yeah, man, they know who we is. They watch us." And even the one broad, she was off 007, like she just caught a plane. Remember the broad came from Paris?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Was you? I don't know if you said. Yeah, she was straight out of gold and right. And she came and she was dressed. Hey, she had on the cold gear. Like she got off a private plane. She was dressed it was a little cool when she had on the scarf and the boots. Like, what? She said, yeah, I'm out of Paris. She was dead set on trying to figure out what we were talking about. She said, well, hold up. You trying to say, you saying that y'all gonna rule? Yeah, she was crazy, man. But she was out of Paris. She had the accent.
Here.
Yeah. So these elites, they subtle. They intrigued by the prophets, man. They don't take you guys see. Matter of fact, they set y'all everybody else up. Oh, that goes into the highland. That's why when you read exactly in the same chapter, it said we are of another fashion. Meaning our emergence on the scene. We wasn't created by them. They didn't set us up and put us out there. We emerged through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, verse 15. He is grievous unto us even to behold.
Right, yeah, these devils can't get sleep. They see the prophets, and we go into the precepts. Go ahead.
For his life is not like other men.
See, our life is not like other men. We're dedicated to performing the services of Yahweh Shema Shah. We're stubborn in righteousness. Oh, that complements 2nd Ezra, the 2nd chapter. That's touching the crowning. It goes into the attributes. It said these men stood so stiffly for the names of Yahweh Yahweh Shah. See, go ahead.
His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeit.
Right, we said, the hell with you. You're nothing but a mist, a shadow. You temporal. You counterfeit. Go ahead.
He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed.
Right, yep, that's because the old tone of our message is pronouncing the judgment against Esau. We're going to detail an in-depth look into the disturbing future of the so-called white man. Go ahead.
It says, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his father.
Yeah, we boasting that. I remember the Christian came up and he was continually grieved with our confidence. He started he started like, cocky. Yeah. No, we was boasting because we are persuaded that these powers is going to move on Esau. We got the records. All right, these same powers, they upset kingdoms. They took down regimes and empires. It's well documented. Ramses II, the visitation of ancient Egypt, all these different nations. So you think somehow Esau's beast system is going to elude prophets? No, we convinced. That's why we boast in it. To be honest with you, we dialing it down. Because it's going to be bottles popped when we see forms of judgment. And all, certain things that you might not see on camera, man. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, like the judge. I actually can act that out, man. Yeah. That's the spirit, Yeah. See, what move you people, what causes you to laugh and cry, it don't affect us over here because we view things through the lenses of the spirit. Matter of fact, hold that Philippians, the 2nd chapter 2. All right, go ahead.
Verse 17, let us see if his words be true,
and
let us prove what shall happen in the end of him.
Right, and that's going into the so-called white man eventually moving on us in effort to fulfill biblical prophecy. And in particular, what's that Revelation, the 12th chapter? Where the so-called white man will set his sights against the remnant of Israel and those who keep the commandments and testimony of Yahweh Shah. That's where the drama is we're going to go into that scene. But it was meant to happen. And it's sure that the so-called white man, right, these scientists, they test all these theories. That's talking about him. See that? Is that a part of his makeup, his MO? He's always testing theories and running tests. So he's going to test us. He's going to say, let us see if their words be true. They watching us, man.
I got something real quick.
You got to be on point. The apostle, I believe Apostle Carl brought that out years back. 3 or 4 in the morning under the cover of darkness. Yeah. Can't get comfortable. You know what you're involved in. You might have on some sweats some nights. The spirit. You can't elude whatever gonna happen, but
Yep.
You don't want to be too relaxed.
Yep.
Because according to the report, these devils are eventually going to move in on us. All right, go ahead.
The book of Psalms, chapter 37 and 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy.
Right. The wicked have drawn out the sword. To what?
It says to cast down the poor and needy.
Right, to cast down the poor and needy. Let's find out who the poor and needy is. Go ahead.
And to slay such as be of upright conversation.
And that's us, which complements Revelation 12 and 17. So that's who the so-called white man eventually going to move on. Now, we go into that word drawn, it takes you to the word inscribed, meaning what that process of drawing the sword is the legislations and laws that he set up to justify the sword. That's why when they kick in your door, they always got a fucking warrant. You're in violation of Article Section 1(4)(b)(2). You see? And that goes back to Isaiah the 10th chapter as well. Those unrighteous decrees and grievousness. You look into that word grievousness, it translates to trouble. So the time of Jacob's trouble will be forged by Esau and his war cry. All right? Yep, good.
All right.
One more verse on that? Come on.
Yeah.
Then we'll go double down and go around.
Wisdom Solomon 2 and 18. It says, "For the just man be the son of the Most High."
Right, so that was the so-called white man going to say, if he's the son of the Most High, go ahead.
It says he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies.
Right, yep. Yeah, so that proves that they study too. But we pretty much give them that mortar because they listen to us to make sense of the scriptures. All right? So they're able to connect the dots with our report. That's why they say, you know what? If they are the sons of the Most High, they said that they're going to be preserved. And we go into that. We always start with the apostles and elders. We go into the elect and the preservation of those who are destined to see the salvation of Yahweh Shai.
Right.
The so-called white man going to test that theory. But in that event, he's going to activate the biblical prophecy. Because the Lord is going to send forth reinforcements, man. Yeah. All right, come on.
This is Psalm chapter 64 and verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Read again.
It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Yeah, it said, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. That goes into the shadow government of America, man. You know, those that Job 9:24 speaks of. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. But this is a prayer from our King David, right? King David. And that's the same prayer that we have. And what's our hiding place, man? This pavilion that we partaking in, or the scripture says, storing up our treasures in heaven. That's gonna be your hiding place, man. Most High not forgetting your work and your labor of love, man. But it starts with a prayer. Read it again.
It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked.
And that's our wishes, man. To hide us from the secret counsels of the workers of what?
From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Right. The insurrection of the workers of iniquity, man. Esau. All right. The shadow government, the wicked elites. Because that's going to be their main plan, man. To test the theory of the Lord, like the other brother was saying. We're going to do this to see is this going to take place. We're going to do this to see is this be true. But at the end of the day, man, they're going to fail. Go ahead, up. That's it on that.
It says, who wet their tongue like a sword,
right,
and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Right, to wet their tongues like a sword. And to what?
And it says, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Even bitter words, because that's where all their power lies, man. Within their words, man. All right, within their legislation, within their pens, things that they write, all right, to come down on Jacob. And 9 times out of 10, it be in secrecy, man.
Yeah.
You only know it when that law is hit upon you due to an act that you commit, and you never knew that law was in place.
Right.
You know, now here they come.
It goes back to them treaties.
That's it.
The same old devil. That's why when you read Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, it says he should be looked at as a wiping glass, and you come to the conclusion that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. Meaning what? That's the same old devil. It's the same old approach, the same old techniques, the same old mischief.
Right.
Yep.
Haven't changed.
Yep. That old serpent.
Oh, that's it.
Got one more verse. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
See, that they may shoot in secrecy, and that is they 9 times out of 10 they write these legislations. You know, they doing it right in your face, but you know how Jake is. You know, they do it in these secret meetings.
Right.
You know, just say going back to the guy Obama. Jake was in derision, man, thanking Obama, you know, because he looked like them. He had skin like them, that he was for them. But no, in secrecy, he was passing all type of legislations against you, man. That's really in effect right now.
Right. Can I say too? That has that element of that cunning hunter to it.
Element of surprise.
The element of surprise, which all falls under the banners. It's the workings of a serpent.
Right.
That's why the scriptures, it wasn't for entertainment when that word serpent was aligned with Esau. At that point, the wise would consider that, and you know, then you will make the comparisons. So, oh, okay, a serpent, use gradualism. You don't know he's there.
That's it.
You know, he's coming in the spirit of secret. It is a secretive patience. Oh yeah, and that's another attribute of a serpent. They're real patient. They'll wait on their food. They'll wait, bro. But now the Lord is speeding them up because they've been waiting for years. They've been waiting to pounce on Israel ever since we've been over here, and the Lord started to begin to, for prophecy's sake, show favor to the nation of Israel, beginning at the elect. Hey, for an example, when you go back to the Constitution, the right freedom of speech, that was for us to be able to teach this word, man. When you really go into it, the stage was being set for the prophets to make their appearance on the scene and to activate, to bring forth the sayings of your house out. All right, come on. Is it more of it?
Finish it off.
Right,
it says, suddenly do they shoot it. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
Yep. And fear not, man. But guess what? We living in the times that these devils about to come into that fear, man. Because all of they anti-ism is gonna come back to bite them, man.
Okay.
yeah, number one.
Well, yeah, ism.
Yeah, freakism. That's it, Marshall. Go ahead.
Got some bag.
Go ahead.
Kind of this Psalms 59 and verse 7. It says, "Behold, they belch out with their mouths, swords are in their lips."
Yep.
Meaning
they wage war through their legislations, man. You see? To justify, you know, them moving in on it. Right?
For who say they doth hear?
Yep, because it's done under that shroud of secrecy. Right? And that's when they lost their power. The Apostle Paul went into that on how the moment they began to be exposed, when you go into the Illuminati, it became common knowledge. That's when they lost their power because they was able to thrive under secrecy. So once they was found out, that was it. Once the veil was, just like what's that? The Wizard of Oz. Yeah. It really brings confusion. Like this guy. Oh, the scriptures say that.
Isaiah 14.
Yeah. Is this the man?
Yeah.
The Lord is going to make Esau bear on all fronts. It's going to be perfected. You know. Right now we climax into that perfection, but hey, we totally persuaded and convinced that that's the man. All this overwhelming evidence out there. And not only that, he's resting and settling into his life. Yeah, come on.
It says, "But thou, O Lord, shalt laugh at them. Thou shalt have all the heathen in derision."
Yeah. Come on. Yeah, go ahead.
Isaiah, this book, Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy should come in like a flood.
Right. The enemy, that's prophecy. The enemy is going to come in like a flood. Go ahead.
The spirit of the Lord.
Somebody can hold that too. What's that? Is that Psalm 124? Go ahead.
The spirit of the Lord should lift up a standard against him.
Right. And that's going to be when that spiritual power is going to be, presented and physically. The Lord's going to combat this devil with, strange works. Right. That's why I said the spirit of the Lord should lift up a standard. But what's the point? The so-called white man is going to eventually come in like a flood. The reason why the scriptures refer to it as a flood, because the flood is overwhelming. You actually have to be, even with the ark, you had to be housed, you had to be protected from that flood. So this is the ark right now. We building the ark. Is that Genesis 5, the work of their hands? Work of his hands is touching the ark. Well, the spiritual overtone of that is on display with us. This building, this is equivalent to an ark, a refuge, that tower, and whatever examples you could use to serve as a symbol of being protected or shielded off, warded. Go ahead, It was?
Yeah, the word
It's angel.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, matter of fact, you can go there. And what was that I called for? Okay, con. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
In the book of Psalm 91, verse 11.
And that's Psalms 124. It was another. Yeah, go ahead.
Psalm 91 and 11. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep.
Yeah, right. And we know Psalm 91 is dedicated to what? The preserving of the elect, pretty much. All right. Read that again.
For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways.
Right, to preserve you, to keep you in all your ways. Now, you gonna look up that word angel?
All
right, go ahead.
The word angel, Strong's H 4397. It says messenger, representative. I'm gonna go down to the Strong's. It says meaning to dispatch as a deputy.
Right, to dispatch as a deputy. Like even in the earthly realm, if you're in trouble, you call the cops, you call the authorities, and they dispatch help. Well, that's how the angels
from the dispatch.
Right, the angels are going to be dispatched as deputies, as from a deputy, from a high authority, and they're going to be given charge over you to keep you in your way and to preserve you from who? The evil man. That's in Proverbs, the 2nd chapter. Matter of fact, let's go to Psalm 124.
That wolf.
See how the spirit works? Go back to that wolf. And the wolf gets off on the sheep. That's why there's tales and stories that's even the scriptures. Those are the two. That's the dynamic between these two opposing forces, the wolf and the sheep, and they're completely different. But they join at the hip. One of them being the predator and one of them being the prey.
Right.
Go ahead,
This Psalms 124 in verse 1. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when men rose up
against us, right? See, when men rose up against us. If it had been the Lord who was on our side, and that's the song of the sheep. If it wasn't for the shepherd that was there. See, go ahead. Go.
It says, then they had swallowed us up quick.
Then they were what?
Then they had swallowed us up quick.
They would swallow us up quick, and that's what a flood do. Go ahead.
When their wrath was kindled against us.
Right, and that complements Revelation, the 12th chapter. That's touching the so-called white man eventually coming out with great wrath. Go ahead.
It says, then the waters had overwhelmed us.
See, the waters had overwhelmed us. So that's how you know that flood represents the overwhelming. Hey, because we're gonna be overwhelmed. You do your videos and you got, sage burning everywhere. But once those troops come in, And because once you awoke, it intensifies things. You know what proved that? Remember when they descended on the Garden of Gethsemane?
Right.
And it was a drama. It was dramatized, man.
Right.
Those was troops. That was the military came in.
Right.
To seize and apprehend Yahushua, man. I think that when Peter stood up, Peter got down, with the sword.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's gonna be hey. But it's gonna be overwhelming, man. All right? You can't prepare the Lord. This the Lord drama. Go ahead.
It says the stream.
I'm gonna kick in. You was actually hearing this in the lesson. We was telling you in the spirit, they're gonna kick in with your inoffensive article. And and it actually happened. Go ahead.
It says the stream had gone over our soul.
Mm-hmm.
Then the proud waters.
See, that proves that flood is dealing with Esau. How do we know that? That word proud. That's a buzzword, all right? Best suited when describing the so-called white man. Go ahead.
Then the proud waters had gone over our soul.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed be the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, who have not given us as a prey to their teeth.
Right, their teeth, yeah.
Mm.
The Lord hasn't given us a prey to their teeth. And that links up with Revelation. The Lord will keep you from the hour of temptation. If I keep you, that means I ain't gonna give you over. Right. This mine right here.
Right.
I saw you at in that prison movie with OG Bobby Johnson.
South Central.
South Central, that's a bad movie. This is an OG call. What he said? He said, I'm keeping him. Yeah, I mean, it's fun, but hey, yeah, that's how y'all stepped in on my behalf. That said, yeah. That's a man.
Man, Buddha.
Hey, but he said, I'm keeping him. There's an OG call. That means he was saying, I got the authority. I'm keeping him.
Yeah.
That means I'm protecting this one here.
Yeah.
It's a man. Like that. Hey, but that's what y'all. That's what the Lord have not given us over to them. All right. The Lord has kept us being His jewels. The sheep. In that pen, that's that prison. You be in that pen. That's a pen. It goes back to penitentiary, man. You got guys who become disgruntled and they say it was like a prison in Great Millstone. Yeah, good. And that shows you like a docile sheep that don't know no better. He sees the pastures and not understanding that his protection lies with the shepherd. Yeah, come on.
It says, our soul is escaped as a bird out of a snare.
Come on, man. That's heavy too, because a bird, he ascends. If that bird get away, then eventually, somewhere, he take flight. So our escape is going to be capped off with being caught up in the heavens, caught up in the air with our Lord, to forever be with the Lord. What's that?
First
Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. Yep. Come on.
It says, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowler. The snare is broken, and we are escaped.
Yeah, we escape. And that word escape is menacing. When you escape, that means, it's dramatized. There's a certain level of drama to it. Somebody pop up at your door. First thing they say, I just escaped. You don't, So that's going to be the overtone of this deliverance. You're going to be escaped narrowly. Scriptures tells you how we're going to skin of your teeth, pretty much.
Scarcely shall be.
Scarcely, that's what I was thinking about. Yep, scarcely. That's how the Lord get out. Remember Daniel, the 3rd chapter? Then cast in that fiery furnace. How dramatized can that be, You're going to get like that with us. It's going to be moments where Esau closing in on you, man. And we believe this. Lord can make you disappear. Straight up, man. All right, go ahead.
God. It says, our help is in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, who made heaven and earth.
See, who made heaven and earth. That was written right there. That was pretty much promoting the Lord. Like you could promote someone with 62 knockouts, undefeated, you know. So this power who we put our trust in made heavens and earth. So how can Esau combat that type of power? We have power over the elements. You could catch flight. You could take off running real fast. It's gonna be heavy, man, in the times to come. Take out running from Esau, you know, you don't know how fast, you know, why you running this fast. You in North Birmingham, you know. Like that, you know what I'm saying? And we believe in it, all right? And we ain't here to try to make you, we ain't here to convince you. And scripture speaks about those like-minded, right? That's like-minded, okay? All right. Anything else out here? Yeah, come on. You got more? That was it?
That was it.
All right, you got it up.
Here comes Psalm 3 and verse 6. It says, I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about.
Right.
Verse 7. Arise, O Lord Yahweh Shai, and save me, O my
Hey, that
power.
reminds me of Elisha. Remember they stepped that it was in the night, they came in there, they compassed the Assyrians. That symbolized Esau, man. That's how they're gonna come. And we got information. It's already been disclosed, mainly through certain whistleblowers and insiders. I wish this guy he got put to death. Was it Goldberg? Right. Yep, he pretty much blowed the whistle concerning so-called white man invading your homes under the cover of darkness. That's how they get out. And this information had come out as well, where they having these simulations in dark. They got these night gargles. So that's how these devils that's the spirit of Yahweh Shem outside. The Lord gonna turn the lights out, then have Esau come in. Yep, go ahead. That's scary, man. And that's how horror movies is. You know, you feel somebody they cut the power off.
True.
Yeah. So the Lord gonna visit you, man. It's gonna be fear. It's gonna be an overwhelming spirit of fear on the planet Earth. You people gonna be frozen with fear at the presence of Yahweh Shema Shah. That happened in ancient Egypt. Go ahead,
God, it says, arise, O Lord, and save me, O my power, for thou hast smitten all my enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly.
Woo, yeah. Because the so-called white man operate under the teeth. Remember that teeth is the same sword that you read about in Genesis the 27th chapter. It's touching the so-called white man's attributes, where it's not going to have any power over us. All right, saying that the Lord see fit to number us amongst that precious up. That's what we desire. All right, so anything else? All right, so let's close out in the Philippians 2. I think it's 1.
The book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 1. If there be therefore any consolation in Yahweh Shai, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any bowels and mercy.
Right, if any fellowship of the Spirit. And the reason why I want to bring that up, because what we present unto you, you have to have the Spirit resting upon you to entertain it. You see? That's why this makes sense as touching coincide with the Bible. When we say, yeah, Esau coming in with his military after us, and the Lord is going to allow ways for us to escape, you know, strange ways. What scripture say, the Lord should set up a standard against him. That word standard, that definition goes into where,
A way to escape.
yeah, a way to escape. And one of those definitions is to disappear when you go into it, man.
That's it. Take flight.
Yeah, one of them is to take flight. So the Lord has reserved, he's going to show his power, man, through the elect. You know? Go ahead,
God, it says, fulfill ye my joy.
That's like you read it again. It's like,
Philippians 2:1. If there be therefore any consolation in Yahushua, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any bowels and mercies.
Yep. So again, the gathering is based upon the Spirit. All right. It's inspired, motivated, and driven by the Spirit. There's no way you can conjure up, this information. Neither can you partake in it unless you're led by the Spirit. Because at some point you're going to be met with this. You're going to be confronted with, like the strange works of Yahweh Shema Shah. Well, when you think about it, the only way you can combat Esau's advantage, because let's say like if you are one of these sects who got weapons, and man, this shit don't flatter. Man, what the so-called white man have? The technology that was giving him that great sword. Furthermore, you using his technology, he can turn off your phone, man. Niggas got you networking WhatsApp. Talking about descending down on the Capitol building. Esau just cut the shit off. Cut your power off. Then arrest your ass. If not, just send a robot dog. Yeah, from the side. Might send a UPS. Yeah. Might send him a UPS, man. You think you got something, you over that motherfucking dog. When the air, he breathed the air coming, he awake. You guys, the Lord gave him the sword, man. So I said that to say this: the only way, the plausible way to escape this man is through spiritual power. That's how much power he's been given. He can even see through the walls.
Hey, Russia accused Ukraine of having super soldiers.
Yeah, I saw that. Mutants, they call them mutant soldiers. Oh, they got that off Captain America. Right. Yeah, motherfucker won't die. You know what I mean? So how you gonna combat that? It's gonna take divine intervention, man. See, and that's what we've been exposed to, and it makes sense to us. That's why scriptures say the Lord who made heavens and earth. Now you consider that sun and this ball of fire that can consume you devils if the Lord wanted, that he can send a solar, because it's like it's flares coming around the earth. The Lord can send one at any time. They're ready on the go, you know what I mean? And the Lord created that. So we believe that this is how Yahweh Shema Shah is going to preserve us through those acts. Like, was it? Anything else out there? Hey. Hey, so with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders, the great millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there. And as always, you believe. Until next time, shalom.
Shalom, DTA, Bible soon.
Very soon.
Tonight.